Hello my sweet friends and welcome back to Woodland Bunny. I decided to try something a little different on my channel today, and which is hopefully something I'll be implementing more and more of into my videos. That is of course books. I have been part of the Bookstagram community for a while now and love it over there, but really wanted to try and create more bookish content on this channel, as after all it is my main love and hobby in life. Today's video will be centered around my mood reading tastes and indecisiveness, as I'm currently stuck on what books to pick up next, so I thought I'd create a try a chapter video. This isn't a new concept, but actually one I visit very often when stuck between which novels to dive into. I will choose a few books from my shelves, read a chapter of each of them, and whichever holds my interest the most, that will be my pick. So friends, let the bookish adventure commence. The first book I decided to dive into has been one of the longest books on my to-be-read shelf. We follow Celaena, an assassin who was summoned to the castle. She comes not to kill the king, but to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 killers, thieves and warriors in a competition, she is released from prison to serve as the king's champion. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, but something evil dwells in the castle of glass, and it is there to kill. When her competitors start dying one by one, Celaena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world. I discovered this special edition a while back and couldn't resist it. I honestly bought it in hopes that I would be more inclined to pick it up, but sadly, as we can see, that hasn't happened. I know the series has expanded quite a bit from when I initially picked this book up, and I have read other works in Sarah J Maas in which I absolutely have adored, so I'm hopeful this will too be the same.
Hi friends, I've just finished the first chapter of Throne of Glass and it's made me realise how short a chapter actually is. I was so eager to dive into the second chapter after finishing this one, and I'm so glad this challenge has started off on a positive note. I do find though, however, every time I do enter a Sarah J Maas novel, I'm so captivated by the descriptive and lyrical writing and just being inside the head of the main character. I just find I'm always quickly becoming their best friend, and I'm so glad that I really did enjoy the first chapter of this one, but I'm not going to hold any favourites and I will be diving into the others and letting you know my thoughts as I go through. So without further ado, let's go and pick up the next book.
You will see a common trend among all these novels, as this is a book I've had on my to-be-read pile for some time too. We follow ᴍᴘᴇᴜ, the only princess of ᴍᴇ괱ᴱᴜ who has a secret. Forbidden magic runs through her veins. Normally she conceals it well, but on the morning of her brothel ceremony, ᴍᴘᴇᴜ loses control. At first, her mistake seems like a stroke of luck, forestalling the wedding she has never wanted, but it also catches the attention of ᴍᴘᴜᴜ, her stepmother. ᴍᴘᴜᴜ has dark magic of her own, and she banishes the young princess, turning her brothers into cranes and warning ᴍᴘᴜᴜ that she must speak of it to no one. For every word that escapes her lips, one of her brothers dies. Penniless, voiceless, and alone, ᴍᴘᴜᴜ searches for her brothers, and on her journey uncovers a conspiracy to overtake the throne, a conspiracy more twisted and deceitful, more cunning and complex than even ᴍᴘᴜᴜ's portrayal. Only ᴍᴘᴜᴜ can set the kingdom to rights, but to do so she must place her trust in the very boy she fought so hard not to marry, and she must embrace the magic she's been taught all her life to contain, no matter what it costs her.
Hey friends, so I've just finished this first chapter of Six Crimson Cranes, and wow, this book is full of such whimsy and magic, and it's just so wonderful, and I was just so enraptured with the lyrical storytelling, and although I was only a chapter in, I just felt just such magic blossoming from this book already, and I just loved how lyrical and poetic the writing was. I completely forgot that I had read Spin the Dawn from this author, and I remember the exact same feeling, the exact same things that I just felt after reading this chapter. Yeah, I'm just so excited to have read this and for it to have been part of the challenge. And so far I think it has topped Throne of Glass, but we do have a few other books to go yet, so we shall dive into them and see which one wins and which one captures my attention the most. But yes, this one was so much cool.
The description of Crave begins. My whole world changed when I stepped inside the academy. Nothing is right about this place or the other students in it. Here I am, a mere mortal among gods, or monsters. I still can't decide which of these warring factors I belong to, if I belong at all. I only know one thing that unites them is their hatred of me. Then there's ᴍᴇ괱ᴱᴜ, a vampire with a deadly secret who hasn't felt anything for hundreds of years. But there's something about him that calls to me, something broken in him that somehow fits what's broken in me, which could spell death for us all, because Jackson walled himself off for a reason, and now someone wants to wake a sleeping monster, and I'm wondering if I was brought here intentionally, as the bait.
Hi friends, so I just finished reading while listening to the first chapter of Crave, and I just didn't seem to connect with the story. I know that obviously a chapter is very short, but that's the whole point of this, is to get my initial engagement with the story, and I just didn't seem to connect with it at all. I wasn't a major fan of our protagonist's talking style, and I know that's all down to the writing style, but I think if I had more time to dedicate it and was reading more chapters, then this would be one which would take me a few chapters to get into. But I just think for the concept of this video, sadly this one did not hook me in. I think I can safely say this is the one in which I won't be progressing with, and I don't want to shame it because of it being an audiobook, because I really don't think that was the issue at all, the fact that I was listening to it rather than reading it. I just think the writing style, I need more time to be able to get invested in it. So yeah, it's a bit sad about that one, but I've had some good contenders so far. But now I'm going to head out on a walk and take my next read with me, so I will check in with you once I've had a read through the first chapter of that one. So let's go for a walk, a sit down and a little read, friends, and I will see you very shortly.
I was especially excited to choose Woven in Moonlight for this challenge of sorts, as the first line was what made me purchase the novel. It sounded so whimsical and filled me with such wonder, and of course the cover and artwork is stunning too. ᴍᴇ is the ᴏᴘᴇᴱᴜ, a stand-in for the last remaining Australian royal. Her people lost everything when the upset ᴍᴘ used an ancient relic to summon ghosts and drive the Australians from La Crudad. Now ᴍᴇ is motivated by her unsustainable thirst for revenge and her rare ability to spin thread from moonlight. When ᴍᴘ demands the real Condorcet's hand in marriage, it's ᴍᴇ's duty to go in her stead. She relishes the chance, as the Australian spies have reported that ᴍᴘ's no longer carrying the deadly relic. If ᴍᴇ can find it, she can return true Astrotica to their rightful place. She hunts for the relic using her weaving ability to hide messages in the tapestries for the resistance. But when a masked vigilante, a warm-hearted princess, and a thoughtful healer change ᴍᴇ, her mission becomes more complicated. There could be a way to overthrow the upset without starting another war, but only if ᴍᴇ turns her back on revenge and her Condorcet.
Hello friends, so I have just gotten back from my walk and my little sit down to read Woven in Moonlight. So I finished the first chapter of this one and it was so much fun. It was so action-packed and action-filled within the first chapter, and I love the storytelling and the lyrical writing as well, and I just adore the map in this book as well. It's so stunning and I just love the art style of it. It was really fun and I really enjoyed getting introduced just very lightly to all of the characters, and a lot actually happened to say it was the first chapter of a book. It was definitely supposed to grip you in for sure, with all of the action, all of the characters being introduced, and I can tell it will be a very magical read when and if I get to it. So yeah, we've only got one more read to try a chapter of, so I'm going to get into some comfy clothing because the evening is fast approaching, and then settle down to read my final read and then check back in with you after I have done so. So let's get to it, friends. Hello friends, so I've just finished the first chapter of The Prison Healer, and this is my final book for this try a chapter challenge, and I did really enjoy it. It was a lot of sort of world building and introducing to the character, and a little bit of action happened, but it was just mainly introducing us to the world and the concept, in which is always a delight just to slowly get you into the fantasy. It sadly didn't grip me as much as the others did, which is quite a shame, because I had high hopes for this one, but I think I will enjoy it nevertheless. But right now I'm really wanting to pick up a book that grabs my attention instantly and is very snappy and to the point. So yeah, that was the final book that I have decided to read in this challenge, so I'm going to go mull over my thoughts and then I will let you know which book I finally choose and which book so-called won this try chapter challenge. Hello friends, so I have chosen my next read and picked out which book I am going to be choosing from this little challenge, and that is Six Crimson Cranes. It just dragged me in from its whimsical and lyrical and also wonderful storytelling. I was really immersed within the first few pages of this book and the first chapter of this book, and I'm so eager to continue on with it, so I decided to choose this one as my next read. I really enjoyed doing this challenge and I highly recommend you to do the same, whether you're at a loss for what book to pick up next or you're just wanting something fresh and exciting for your reading life. Then I recommend a try a chapter tag / challenge, whatever you may call it. Thank you ever so much for coming along with me on this adventure. I loved having you here and I had so very much fun. I will see you in my next video. Until next time, I hope wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you have a lovely day or night. Bye friends.